This is Rating Descending,
where we watch IMDb's Worst 250 so you don't have to.
My name is Abigail Warren.
And I'm Michelle St. Clair.
And this week we watched Cats and Dogs 2, Revenge of Kitty Galore. The ongoing war between the canine and feline species is put on hold when they join forces to thwart a rogue cat spy with her own sinister plans for conquest. Let's go. Christmas, the snow's running, coming down. Christmas, I'm watching it snow.
What are you doing there, little
people
Abigail?
around. Christmas, baby, please
You could argue I'm
come
also
home.
under the sea.
They're singing deck
Hello.
the halls.
I'm an octopus
Don't like
Santa.
Christmas at all. But I remember when you were
Mariah,
here.
why are you singing
And I
over
love
Santa Claus?
last year.
That's
Christmas,
not very
pretty lights
Christmassy
on the
of
tree.
you. It's a little bit rude.
I'm watching it snow.
This is not the Christmas spirit that Jesus died on the cross for.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
And a Happy New Year. Well, that's us for the night. Thanks for listening.
All right, we did it.
This was great.
I'm so glad. No, it's Christmas. I feel like even though in a lot of ways I would describe this year as more emotionally challenging than last year, this Christmas itself is filled with more hope.
Oh, why did you find this year more emotionally challenging than last?
I'll get into it next week.
Oh, tantalizing. Yeah, I guess that's an appropriate time to wrap up your year.
Yeah.
Fair enough. That's nice, though.
Yeah.
What's your plan this year, Michelle?
Well, this year, it's the first time in quite some time that we're allowed to travel, and not just allowed to travel, but also allowed to travel and not have my brain be going, it's going to close. It's going to close. We're going to be trapped here. We're going to be stuck here.
But who are you seeing?
In Brisbane, Brooke's sister, and then in Bundaberg, Brooke's family, and then in Sydney, I don't know yet. My mum definitely.
Nice.
And then hopefully fingy crossed, my friends.
Nice.
Oh, see my little Christmas friends.
You have Christmas friends?
Pretty please, I would love to see
Oh,
my
you have-
Christmas
You have
friends.
friends at Christmas?
Oh, I have little Christmas.
Christmas.
Please, Santa, I don't even need my two front teeth. I would just love some friends for Christmas.
So shall it be.
No, thank you. And thank you for not making fun of my babyhood.
I would never.
I'm just a little 26-year-old baby.
Wait, what? You're 26?
Actually, when this episode comes out, I'll be 27.
Oh, I thought you were 12, you fucking idiot.
Even 12 would be old for this whole shtick.
Hey, elves, look at this loser.
Come on, Santa.
Boo.
Oh, come on, Santa.
Boo. I'm
this
taking
is-
your friends away.
This is really mean, Santa Claus.
I'm also having a little Christmas treat.
Yeah, explain yourself.
Explain your what are you doing here?
Explain this.
I'm gonna take Claude up to Sydney for a week, and he's gonna meet my extended family.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's gonna be very overwhelming for him because there's a lot of them, and they're all quite odd. But it'll be really
nailed it.
fun. It'll be really nice.
Sounds hot. Sounds fucking hot.
It's definitely going to be
sounds-
hot and stinky.
hot
That's
and
for sure.
sexy.
It's Christmas.
It's
I'm
Christmas.
going to start getting my. Am I allowed to say this? Because we're not really recording at Christmas time. I was going to say I should start getting my head in the Christmas game, but maybe I shouldn't.
This is getting your head in the Christmas game.
This is it.
This is it. This is getting ready for Christmas.
This is us getting ready for Christmas.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, yeah. Listeners, you guys know we don't record it the day it comes out.
No, yeah, we do, listeners. We're right here with you. We're doing this live to unite now.
This is actually June.
No, listeners, we're right here with you. You can ask us questions and we'll respond. Like, we're listening. Shout out. Come on.
Yeah,
Tell us
we
what you
got
think.
we got a fresh message from at the 7th of January saying asking, hey, now that COVID's over, how do you reckon you're gonna spend 2021? It's a pretty good joke.
That's not live, Michelle.
Yeah, I know. So I can cut it out.
Thank God. The beauty of not recording live. No, but Merry Christmas,
Merry
friends and listeners. It's been a hell of a time.
I feel like as a child, I loved Christmas. And then, I feel like years of people not really caring about Christmas made me sour on Christmas. And now everyone seems so into it. And I'm like, I'm finding it hard to get the spirit back, baby. I need my own Ebenezer Scrooge style of spiritual enlightenment on the virtues of Christmas once more.
Sounds like you do. I can't believe that other people's lack of interest in Christmas has led to your own lack of interest in Christmas. Yeah. You sheep.
What?
You sheep?
That's not what's happening. Come on.
Get your head out of your fucking ass, all right?
Come on.
The spirit of Christmas is not something that should be corrupted by the people around you, right?
It's something that you hold
little
Michelle.
near and dear to your heart. This is why Santa hates you. This is why Santa fucking hates you, Michelle.
No, please.
This is why you're fucking...
Please, Sandy.
The elves are going to beat you up.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. And then you're going to get thrown out of fucking Santa's sleigh.
Okay, you know how Santa elves are like old school elves?
Yeah.
Like
the
old
OG.
school traditional elves where they're short and like, hey, we're Santa's elves. Imagine if
Which
it's
is weird because that's not really, I was about to say, that's not really in line with any other elf.
Well, it's more in line with most European elves. Tolkien is the one who changed it.
This is true.
So, but imagine if Santa's like, oh, time to make the presents. And they're like, yes, we shall make the presents of Lothlorien. And
tangled and woven in the hairs of time.
Just a bunch of like Galadriel and Elrond fucking in a workshop.
Go where I cannot go, Santa.
And they're terrible as the dawn.
Welcome to my workshop.
Sometimes I say on this podcast we sing a lot. I think on this podcast you sing a lot.
Well, when you've got the fucking chops, you might as well show it off.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know what I mean? Merry Christmas.
It's the same reason I always do my perfect New York accent.
You got the accents. I got the looks. You read books.
No, I like that you did the joke and then you wanted to just do the quote
a different
itself as a frame of reference.
It's all over the shop. But speaking of all over the shop,
hey,
this week
hang on, you got this. It crumbled so quickly.
This week we watched Cats and Dogs 2. The Revenge of Kitty Galore.
So earlier this week, I got to finally go back to the cinemas and watch two different movies. I got to watch Dune at IMAX and The French Dispatch. And after watching each one, I was like, which is more than I've been able to watch the entire rest of the year combined. And I was like, I've never been more in love with movies. I just forgot just how incredible this art form is. And then I had to watch 4 movies in a row for this podcast, one of which was Cats and Dogs 2, and I take it all back.
Yeah, because we had 2 sequels going on at the moment. And I also saw The French Dispatch. And actually, while on the topic, as I was saying, I didn't like it.
I know, you mentioned you didn't like it. I really liked it. I really enjoyed it.
I think there's a lot to like about it. I was thinking about that today. I was like, there's so much to like about The French Dispatch, but I don't like it. Let's talk more about Wes Anderson.
I really had a hard time watching this movie.
Yeah, I want to know about this. You said you had to stop and start it a bunch.
I tried to watch this movie 3 different times.
Why?
I've been like overworking myself and undersleeping a lot recently. It's just been that like rush at the end of the year to get everything done. And so I dedicated some time to watch this and I was like, okay, sure. And then like an hour, like it's so loud and energetic and like aggressive without ever letting you into any piece of information. I found it like, I realized I was like an hour in and I was like, I can't emotionally handle continuing to hear this and I don't know what's happening. So I turned it off. And then a few days later, I was like, okay, I'll return. I'll come back. I'll try again. And that time I only actually got 25 minutes in. It was worse. And then today, as of the record, I was like, I still haven't done it and I need to watch the whole movie. So I started watching it just like on my laptop while doing things. Still found it really hard to get through. And I only finished it about 5 to 10 minutes before you showed up to start recording.
Fuck. You had a tough time with it.
I couldn't get through it. It's just so much blasted into your prefrontal cortex to like process. I just hated it.
I feel prefrontal cortex is definitely the name of my new indie band.
Love it.
We are prefrontal cortex.
And you make the worst electro music I've ever heard in my life.
Oh, I thought it was going to be like really fuzzy, like early 2000s
It's
indie.
too science sounding.
Yeah.
It could maybe be like a sort of outdated death grunge band.
Yeah.
We're prefrontal cortex. Do, 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 do. You know, that kind of thing.
Maybe I should have called this like lobotomy, because I think that's more like the kind of vibe I'm going for. We are lobotomy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, mommy.
mommy.
Sorry, Santa Claus.
It's okay. Fucking idiot.
Tell me any of your thoughts about this movie.
Yeah, I didn't find it hard to watch at all.
Okay.
At all.
Lucky you.
It was only an hour and a half long. Again, big tick.
Not even
of
that.
approval.
It's an hour 22.
Yeah, every time I see these movies and I see it's an hour and a half or under, it's like a big sigh of relief. I'm like, oh.
If I see 1:2, I'm like, fuck, thank God.
And I have to admit, I didn't watch the first Cats and Dogs for this because I watched it so many times as a kid. I can roughly remember it.
It's better than you remember it.
Yeah, I feel like I loved it when it was on TV as a kid. Like when it was on, I was like, fuck yeah, I've watched this 6 times and I'm going to watch it again.
Genuinely, that's a pretty solid movie.
Yeah, because it's about like Lou the Beagle.
Yeah.
And he's against Mr. Tinkles, the evil, fluffy, white Himalayan cat. And it had Jeff Goldblum in it. So I was like, yeah, this is ticking every box for me as a fucking 6-year-old.
Does a good performance. It's got some like genuinely heartwarming for a studio comedy of the 2000s moments, but it's like trying really earnestly, which I appreciated. And there's like some fun sequences at the end, you know, like Mr. Tinkles declaring that all mice in reward for the services are going to get 1 pound of cheese and the continent of Australia. Like, that's a fun moment in the original movie, and there's just nothing like that here.
Yeah.
Every time some fucking director gets asked the most irritating question in the world about Marvel movie and they react improperly, and in response, film bros go on long tangents about the death of cinema, this is the movie they are actually referring to.
Remember that song I used to show you? Like, Pop Art and the Death of Art.
Yeah.
Similar vibe.
This movie makes it hard to believe that art is possible. Which in turn makes it hard to feel like you're able to keep on going.
This film really got you, didn't it?
It requires more brain capacity than I have. Like I feel like it's what Alex DeLarge in Clockwork Orange has his eyes propped open and is getting beamed into his head. That's what it felt like watching it. But at a certain point, about an hour in, they're like, "Oh my God, stop! It's spilling out of her eyes. She can't fit it in her brain." And I'm like, "It's too much. Can't handle it."
I found it perfectly fine to watch. Again, it was short. It was very fast. So I was happy with that.
My exact problem.
Yeah. For me, I was like, thank God. It's off to a cracking start. I don't really get what's happening, but things are happening and I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
But like, it had a real good cast of characters.
Yeah, but that's also what's weird to me about it, is like the way that the cast is different than the first one, where a lot of people get recast, but normally when people get recast, it's by like someone lower tier than them, right?
Yeah.
Like growing up, I really liked Inspector Gadget, which we will do on this list at some point.
Is it Inspector Gadget 2 that's on the list?
Inspector Gadget 1 is on the list.
Okay.
It's actually really low down.
Wow.
But I watched Inspector Gadget 2 straight to DVD, which recasts Matthew Broderick with French Thomas from Third Rock from the Sun. Totally makes sense.
Thomas from Third Rock from the Sun. Who's that? Like
French Thomas. Well, you know the one that's not.
I've never watched it. Which actor is it?
French Thomas.
French Thomas.
That's the name of the actor.
What? I thought it was a character because
No.
you've got American Thomas and French Thomas.
What? Who's American Thomas?
Apparently he doesn't exist because it's the actor's name. I figured there were 2 characters in Third Rock from the Sun. Normal Thomas and French Thomas.
Why did you assume that?
It makes more sense than there being someone called French Thomas.
Apparently it didn't make more sense.
Oh, we've got normal little Thomas and then French Thomas that we keep in the attic. Hello, Mama and Pepe. I've never seen this show.
I can tell that you know nothing about this show.
French Thomas. That doesn't sound like an actor's name.
I'm sorry to disappoint you, but it is. I don't know how else to explain that this man has the name French Thomas.
Well, I'm looking up French Thomas and all that's coming. I looked up French Thomas actor and all that's coming up is Philippe Catois, Thomas the Tank Engine, Wikipedia.
What? Who's the? Okay, now I'm gonna look.
I don't think there is a French Thomas. Who's the idiot now, Michelle?
Oh, French Stewart. His name is French Stewart.
Okay, it's still odd.
I feel like yes, you're right in that I had the wrong name, but
But
the
if
actual,
you had said French Stewart, I still would have made the same mistake.
they actually got the core parts correct. Yeah, Matthew Broderick gets recast with French Stewart for the direct-to-DVD, right?
Yeah.
That scale totally makes sense to me. In this, Tobey Maguire gets recasted with Neil Patrick Harris, and Alec Baldwin gets recasted with Nick Nolte, and like John Lovitz gets recasted with Wallace Shawn. And I'm like, these are all very like lateral moves.
They're all downgrades, in my opinion.
I don't think when this came out, Tobey Maguire to Neil Patrick Harris was a downgrade.
I think it would have been. Tobey Maguire was quite that was 2010.
Yeah.
No, you're right. In 2010, that's an upgrade.
In 2010, Tobey Maguire to Neil Patrick Harris?
Yeah, that's an upgrade.
Yeah.
But Nick Nolte.
And I agree that
the
Alec
Nick
Baldwin to
Nolte,
Nick
Alan
Nolte,
Baldwin. Yeah,
sure.
that trajectory
I get that
is on a down.
Yeah. This is also not peak John Lovitz, though, you know?
This is true, but it's not peak Wallace Shawn either. Sean Wallace.
Sure, but that's what I'm saying. Like, by this point, they're equivalent. Like, there's no movie where John Lovitz is the leading man anymore. He is just doing
And that
Sean Wallace
makes me
roles.
sad. All right? I need his atmosphere.
Well,
I can't do it.
I appreciate that. No, that's just John Mulaney.
It's John Mulaney. I was going to say.
Well, now we've actually cracked something here. Hang on.
The overlap of John Mulaney and John Lovitz, the Venn diagram, it's a circle. It's a circle. Except John Lovitz would never talk positively about his wife. Though at this point, neither would John Mulaney.
Oh, sweet Abby.
It's just like when there's a public breakup, it feels like you go through it too. You know what I mean?
I discovered exactly who I follow on like Twitter and Instagram and stuff that don't have divorced parents because they took it way harder than I did.
It is rough. It is rough. Do you want to hear the overview?
I would love to.
Here's some general information about Cats and Dogs 2. It has 4.4 stars on IMDb, so I think it's gone back up a little bit since the list. Because it should be 4.3.
This is the beginning of its critical reappraisal.
Yeah, they're like, you know what? Neil Patrick Harris.
Yeah.
What an upgrade.
Killing it. James Marsden is a leading man. That's what we needed.
This came out in 2010. I'm really learning that 2010 was a terrible vintage for films.
Oh,
I
yeah.
feel like a lot of the worst films on this list have hovered around 2010.
Or a peak year for IMDb reviews.
This is true.
Like, that's why 2006 is so prominent. Where else could you review movies so publicly?
This is very true. This was directed by Brad Payton. I looked up his Wikipedia and I didn't see that he had done anything of note that I could recognize.
Rough.
It was written by John Friedman and Steve Benkich. They're a writing duo partnership, and they have done a lot of films in this vein. Like they both wrote Open Season and Chicken Little. This is really like their brand. They're really hitting their stride.
But I mean, based on that trio, this is weak even for them.
Yeah, this is a step down.
Yikes. We've already mentioned a lot of the actors, but Jack McBrayer and Fred Armisen returning actors on the list.
Nice.
Jack McBrayer was in movie 43, and Fred Armisen was the guy with the big head in Zoolander 2.
Yeah, but like it's got a
fucking huge cast.
It's got a huge cast.
Christina Applegate. Bette Midler is in this movie.
Bette Midler. I mean, we'll get to that later.
Yeah,
I kind of
sure.
expected to go through the cast after the overview, so
yeah.
cut that. This is my overview. Diggs, a somewhat clumsy police dog, meets Butch from the first film and is brought into the DOG HQ to help out with a fickle cat named Kitty Galore. Diggs meets a feline agent named Catherine, who reveals that Kitty Galore, after losing her hair and being disowned by her family, has vowed revenge on dogs and humans. The cats and dogs ally to take down Kitty Galore. The team travels to Alcatraz, where a mentally ill Mr. Tinkles, from the first film, is confined. He provides one clue: a cat's eye reveals everything. Diggs and Catherine soon learn that Kitty is hiding at a fairground, but are quickly captured upon arrival. Kitty reveals her plot to transmit the call of the wild, a frequency only dogs can hear that will make them hostile to humans. Kitty uses the fair's flying swings as a satellite dish to broadcast the signal. Dogs around the world begin to react. Diggs tricks Kitty's right-hand man, Paws, into destroying the satellite. Kitty's pet mouse turns on her, and she's tossed. Wow, she's tossed. She's tossed away. I don't know how to describe that. She's defeated. With the mission a success, Diggs goes to live with Shane, his little human cop buddy. And that's the film. He's stupid.
I don't know why, but I'm still laughing at earlier in the description
Earlier in the view.
Or earlier in the overview.
In the view. That's what we call it here on the pod.
The description of
Yeah,
Mr. Tinkles as mentally ill,
Mentally
which is
ill.
correct, but like such a weird matter of the mentally ill Mr. Tinkles. The scene is he's dressed in like a Hannibal Lecter reference, right? And so it's just so funny.
That's how they described it on Wikipedia,
he's
man.
mentally ill.
He's mentally unstable. I mean, he is. Don't erase his don't make his mental illness like not valid, okay?
Yeah,
It's
no,
very
I'm not
valid.
saying it's not valid. It is
I feel
more
like you're
correct.
laughing at his illness.
I am laughing at this cat played by Sean Hayes in a Hannibal Lecter reference being described so simply as having like being mentally ill.
Yeah.
Because I think
just
there's a lot more going on.
Speaking of mental illness, this morning I woke up and like just absolutely burst into tears, and I was like wiping the tears away, and I was like, "What is this?" And I was like, "It's mental illness." It's just mental illness. So I was like looking at myself in the mirror, and I was like, "There's something wrong with my brain." That was my morning. How was yours?
It sounds just so serene though, going, "Oh, it's mental illness."
Kind of was. I was like, this isn't true. Nothing I'm feeling is true.
Hang on a second.
Hang on.
Oh,
It's
you
all
got
up in
me
here.
again, mental illness.
Yeah, mental illness. Oh, for Christmas, Santa, I would like you to take away my mental illness.
Oh, you know that all kids with mental illness get a lump of coal, don't you, little
But
Sally?
Santa, I can't help it. I was born this way.
Oh, mental illness is your fault. That's the official view of Santa Claus.
Well, can I still have a present?
Well, yeah, it's a lump of coal.
Oh, can I? Oh,
Hey, you could sell that on the market. It's good energy.
I feel like my mental
Clean.
illness is worse.
Like I said, turn that coal into energy for you. Good, clean
But
energy.
Santa,
Better than any of
I
this
believe
renewable
in fossil-
climate change.
I don't
Come
believe
on.
in fossil fuel, Santa.
Oh, you need to look at the science that I've seen. It's different than mainstream
You
science.
got some information to link me, Santa?
Oh yeah, it's on the Daily Wire, PragerU. Oh, I love that shit.
Okay, Santa. I'll
Jordan
go
Peterson
read
was
it.
just telling me about it.
I love Jordan Peterson.
Oh great. Well, maybe I'll slip you a present then.
Like that's not in a creepy sexual way, Santa.
We'll
right?
find
I'm
out.
5. I'm 5 years old.
Statistically, maybe I will. Who knows?
Oh my god,
We'll figure it out.
Mommy.
We don't need to resolve this scene.
Santa's gonna sexually molest
We can move
me.
on.
And that's the moral of Christmas, guys. Don't trust
That's
Santa.
the moral of Christmas.
He's still a weird. He's a stranger danger, man.
Is that what we're gonna
Just
leave
'cause
with
he's
our
Santa
audience? That's the moral of Christmas.
Doesn't mean he's not gonna fill you. All right,
Oh my god.
take it from me.
Speaking of things that are really upsetting, Kitty Galore's, who again, played by Bette Midler.
Which was great.
Yes.
I love Bette Midler. I could actually listen to her all day. I don't care. It's in this stupid film. I was like, she's giving it.
Yeah, it's
She's given
probably because of her ability as a voice actor that made you think that.
I don't believe in voice actors. She's just an actress to me.
Allegedly. No, I who,
Oh,
Christ.
a bit came out.
It's a Christmas miracle. I understand why Bette Midler took this role. I mean, like, I'm sure she was in her room. Like, she was like, fuck, I didn't understand Hocus Pocus when I read that script either. Maybe the kids are all about Kitty Galore these days.
Hang on now.
Okay.
You're not comparing Hocus Pocus to Cats and Dogs too, are you?
What I'm saying is that if Bette Midler was handed Hocus Pocus, I don't think she would instinctively know that it was going to be the incredible cult classic that it is.
This is true, but it's incredibly charming as a film. I feel like reading the
it's
script
wonderful.
compared to reading this script would be very different as an experience.
Sure, but also...
Thackeray Banks.
I do also think if you're Bette Midler in 2010 and someone offers you work, do you say no? You
The
know?
last thing I remember her in, like, post Hocus Pocus, Hocus Pocus,
Postest.
Hocus to Pocus,
Hocus Postus.
Hocus to Postus, is her cameo in Seinfeld. So yeah, I think she's
Was
struggling.
that post Hocus Pocus?
It was.
I thought Hocus Pocus was like 2000s.
Hocus Pocus was
earlier?
90s, like early 90s, my guy.
Oh.
I'm hedging a bet that
Okay.
Hocus Pocus was 1993.
Ooh.
I
Okay.
can look it up right now.
No, there's no way to find out.
I can look it up right now.
It's literally impossible.
Well, I'm gonna do it. No one can stop me.
It's you can't do that. It's impossible.
You're gonna look so fucking dumb, Michelle. 1993. You
Aw,
nailed it.
I nailed it because you didn't look it up.
You're so dumb. I got you.
What
I
am-
got you.
Only thing I know her in post Cats and Dogs 2 is Hocus Pocus 2, which is coming soon.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't want that.
Yeah.
Leave it alone.
I'm sure
Make a new story.
people will get cranky and then it'll come out and people will go like, it's fine. And then we'll forget it ever happened.
Why don't people learn, man?
Well, because a lot of these things used to just go direct to DVD, and then we decided on streaming platforms that we could make just enough money by talking about them instead.
Oh, Christ. That's upsetting.
I miss direct to DVD.
But I actually thought there was like such a good cast of characters in this. Yeah, you had Bette Midler as Kitty Galore. You had Neil Patrick Harris as Lou.
Which is so weird. That's the thing I think that got me about all of the recasts, is that none of them tried to sound like the character. In my exact thing where I was complaining about voice acting, where
Because it's a myth.
a lot of people who are actors are not actually voice acting, they're just reading lines. That's not what Lou sounds like. I understand Neil Patrick Harris has a different voice. If he can't do the vocal performance required, then hire a fucking voice actor instead of Neil Patrick Harris. It was so weird hearing Nick Nolte as Butch sound completely unlike what Butch sounds like. It confused me and upset me.
Michelle, it's okay. Michelle, take a breather. Take a break.
Also, they brought back Joe Pantoliano, Michael Clark Duncan, and Sean Hayes, and what a weird trio of the original cast to be able to get to return.
Yeah, you had James Marsden as Diggs, the lead. You had Christina Applegate as Catherine, the female lead. And she was a little Russian blue cat, and she's so cute.
She was cute. James Marsden is a lot better when he's the one who's live action and his companion is a CG animal.
This is true.
Such as in Hop and Sonic the Hedgehog.
And various moments in Enchanted. Yeah.
He does that a lot. He's really, really good at it. Total mistake to make him the dog.
I'm just going to claim that James Marsden, at a certain point in history, was the most charming man in Hollywood. He just had a good rep. He was a good family-friendly shit.
I really enjoyed him in 30 Rock in particular.
Yeah, but also Roger Moore voiced Tab Lazenby.
Which is also its own sort of James Bond pun. I thought that...
You've been looking this up, Michelle.
No, I saw in the credits Roger Moore, and then they were like, here's Tab Lazenby. I'm like, oh, like George Lazenby, the Bond guy. I bet that's Roger Moore.
Look... You know how I snap my laptop shut as soon as a film is done? It's to honor the anonymity.
So you didn't see the post-credit scene?
Oh, no, I did.
Oh, okay.
Like, I'm just kidding. I don't always do it. But yeah, there was just I didn't mind this film. I think that there were certain... I can't think of any standout scene that I actually enjoyed because it was fucking stupid. But we got through it.
High praise. I couldn't think of any scene that I enjoyed.
No. But I also couldn't think of any scene that I couldn't tolerate.
Okay, but certainly one of the most distinct scenes in it is Kitty Galore's literal Joker origin story, in which she's like describing how the Christina Applegate cat. What was the fucking character's name? Catherine.
Which is an odd name for a cat.
Strange name for a cat. Is it just because
it's got cat in it? Probably. Everything's a pun in this fucking film.
Yeah, it's intolerable very quickly. But she's describing, Kitty Galore used to be a big fluffy cat, but then she fell into...
a big fluffy cat called Ivana Claw You.
Which is its own intolerable pun. But then she fell into a vat, and then it does exactly like as seen in David Ayer's Suicide Squad, which clearly was inspired by this scene. It's all black and white, except the vat of miscellaneous goo is bright hot pink, and then she accidentally falls in and we see her hand come out of the goo, and it's a hair removal cream, and so like the fluff is gone and it's just this hairless cat.
Yeah.
What a strange cinematic choice.
I found it incredibly moving when she returned to her family and they're like, ew, get out, you ugly bitch. And they threw her out and she was like, I will get revenge on you. That's not Bette Midler's voice. She's like, I'll get revenge on you. It's still not Bette Midler's voice.
That was closer though.
I'll get revenge on you. No, it's
no, that's not terrible. It sounded like her being one of the Sanderson sisters. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
hi, my name's Winifred. What's yours?
That's not bad.
I put a spell on you.
Nah, you're losing it.
Now you're mine.
Nah, you're losing it. You're losing it. You're losing it. Nah, come on. Santa's gonna give you a lump of coal again.
Oh my God, Mommy, Santa's back.
I shouldn't. No.
Mommy.
I'm jettisoning this bit.
Mommy, Santa just threw himself through the roof.
No, I'm not part of this anymore.
Goodbye.
I'm not allowed within 100 feet of children.
Santa's leaving the episode, everyone. Say bye to Santa. Bye, Santa.
I'm already gone. Okay, but the scene where she gets thrown out, for me, was one of two things that gave me my biggest question about the whole film. And this is like a second half to Marmaduke. So in this world, and this was established in Cats and Dogs 1, it's canonical that the cats used to enslave humans. Dogs literally freed them from the bondage of slavery. All humans forgot, and now the dogs save humans from cats secretly because both dogs and cats can fully speak human languages, most prominently English, intelligibly to humans, but they keep it secret. And then in this, we're also introduced to a pigeon that can speak English, which makes me think there's like all animals have a full pact of silence where they all talk to each other, but not with human beings, which is wild to me because I don't understand the incentive that a lot of them have for it. Because when Kitty Galore is thrown out onto the street as like, you're a hairless piece of shit, I hate you, just talk. She wants to enslave humans anyway. She's not gaining anything.
Maybe she doesn't want to compromise the fact that animals can talk. Maybe they all make this vow to each other being like, we're never gonna talk to the humans because we can never let them know that we can talk. Like it's like a secret pact amongst them. They are secretly intelligent.
But why? If they're getting treated worse because of it, why? That's wild.
Bruh.
Okay.
Bruh. I can't give you every answer to the world. Yes, I'm very smart. I'm very sexy. I'm very knowledgeable. I get it. But I can't give you every answer that you're looking for.
Well, all animals
hold the secrets, the key to this riddle.
At the very least, the classic trinity, the holy trinity, cats, dogs, pigeons, know how to fully speak English. And that secret has gone like unbroken for thousands of years.
They're pretty good at maintaining it.
That's
Kitty Galore, she might be evil, but she's not going to break the pact.
But I mean, she wants to openly and flagrantly take over all human beings. Like, they're going to find out.
I mean, if she turns around and starts speaking, they'd be like, whoa, what the fuck? And then they'd probably like fucking try and capture her and test like on her and figure out what the fuck's going on. She doesn't have time for that. She has a plan of revenge against all of humans
only because
and
they threw her out. But like, if they're like, oh, what is this ugly fucking thing? And she's like, hey, come on. And they're like, oh shit, this cat can talk. And we already have a pre-established loving relationship with this cat. I'm going to keep a fucking talking cat. That's crazy. That's wild insanity. I would love this cat.
I think you need to reach out to Brad Payton directly.
Yeah, guys, all I have is questions about the cats and dogs lore. I understand where you're cribbing from. I get your influences. Totally love your work.
Love your vibe.
Love your vibe.
Like, fuck the patriarchy.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I mean, they probably love the patriarchy, though. You know. But so all animals can just fully speak English. Because at one point, the pigeon breaks it out of frustration to a little kid. And then Butch goes like, well, we're compromised. What are we going to do? And I'm like, is this the first time that's been an issue?
Surely not.
This is crazy.
It's just the first time it's happened in the movie. I mean, in Cats and Dogs 1, do you remember a moment where they're almost compromised? They talk to any humans?
The Mr. Tinkles fully talks to Jeff Goldblum, the mum, and the son.
And do they respond? Can they hear
Yeah,
Mr.
they can hear him. And they're like, oh, shit, this cat can talk. And the little kid doesn't shut up about it. And then at the end, he even, like, as Lou is there, they think he's dead. The kid is like, Lou, oh no. And then he's like, can you talk? And then Lou just gives him a look, doesn't say anything. And then we see his eyes go wide as we understand that he gets that Lou can talk.
Yeah.
This kid now knows the secret. Did they kill him? Because Lou doesn't live with him anymore.
Is that why Mr. Tinkles is in Alcatraz? For murdering that little child? But that was like the credit scene of the first Cats and Dogs.
But what I'm saying is that Lou had family responsibilities and now he doesn't live there anymore.
Shit, dude.
Did someone get eliminated to keep the secret?
Did someone get rubbed out?
Did someone get JFK?
For the sake of the secret? Who was the gunman on the grassy knoll?
Yeah.
Who was it?
Who was it? Huh? Who was the grassy...
Knoll on the gunman?
Who was the grassy man with a gun?
Who was the grassy little mole?
Who was the grass mole?
Who was the man with that grassy little mole?
That's the best one. There's no topping that. At the fucking end, because literally I was watching it, barely awake, finding it again, third attempt, so hard to get through this ending. And then, so the satellite is, well, they have the ride that is shaped like a satellite dish, pointed at the space satellite. It is transmitting the Call of the Wild signal, which is represented to us through some sort of actually genuinely solid liquid goo beam. And then there's like these tubes of what looks like an actual liquid, not just electricity, running to it. And then they trick Pause into munching onto it to try and destroy it. After Pause, who is revealed to be a fucking full-on robot, chomps onto it, the goo stops and the beam turns red. And then it goes up and the satellite in space explodes. That was crazy to me. Imagine if you had a signal on your phone that could make any other object explode. How did that happen? I know we're like, hey, I'm pointing holes in a kid's movie. I just think that's wild. This blue beam turns red and now the satellite in space explodes because it was downloading data wrong? We gotta rebuild these satellites.
This is the most Michelle observation.
Our infrastructure is not what it used to be if our satellites can be exploded by corrupt signals.
You love the word infrastructure. You're all about it.
You love
it.
I love infrastructure.
Yeah.
I don't think I say it an abnormal amount.
I think at one point you did, and that's fine.
It's an important issue of our times. We have underdeveloped infrastructure.
Say
not just
it again.
structures, infrastructure.
Say it louder for the people at the back.
Not interstructure, infrastructure. It's an important issue of our times. It's important. Hey, what is the deal with all the infrastructure, huh?
Oh.
I went out to the department store. There was no store to depart. Hey,
Where's the infrastructure?
I went to the bus stop. It had been replaced with a parking lot. Now I can't catch the bus.
Yeah, women love infrastructure.
Women like to infrastructure like this.
Do you want to hear some trivia?
Yeah, I'd love to hear some trivia.
IMDb trivia.
The trivia wasn't very interesting, but it did kind of circulate around all of the constant spy movie references in the film.
Makes sense.
So I'll just run you through some of those. Oh, just as an overview, this movie contains nods to Lethal Weapon, Mission Impossible, The Silence of the Lambs, Batman, the Bond films. And the Bond films include Goldfinger, Moonraker, and From Russia with Love.
Yeah.
So it references, a lot of like action and spy films, which is fun.
But it's specifically because you know how they have to make it entertaining for adults so that they'll take their children to watch it? The way that they make it entertaining for adults is by making them go, oh, I know that.
Yeah. I mean, that's an effective thing to do. Like, I feel like Shrek did a similar thing, but in a way better way. Like, Shrek made a lot of like adult jokes and that were genuinely jokes, but also a lot of references as well. That really drew adults in.
I don't like the DreamWorks model of instead of doing a joke, just reminding me of something. I hate that.
I think if they do it in a smart way, it's fine.
Right. I think in Shrek 1, where it's like sort of subverting the fairy tales, which was a fresh take in 2003 or 4. I think that was good. I don't like it later when we're like, oh, that's like that thing I know. I hate that.
Yeah.
Tell me a fucking joke. What's your perspective, man?
Michelle's getting angry tonight. The name Tab Lazenby is a nod to actor George Lazenby, who played James Bond, and so did Roger Moore. The police captain's name is Fleming, a reference to the writer of the James Bond novels, Ian Fleming.
Yeah.
And this is my last piece of trivia.
Wow.
It was fucking scarce pickings.
Yeah.
Kitty Galore's hench cat is a large cat with metal teeth named Paws, which is an obvious nod to the James Bond villain Jaws. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
I have seen not that many Bond movies, but when I was a little kid, there was a couple that were on TV, and one of them that was on a couple of times was Moonraker, which as I grew up, I found out was one of the least critically acclaimed ones because it's very silly and ridiculous. And to the credit of the critics, it is the one where James Bond goes to space.
Yeah.
So fair game. But it means that I'm very familiar with Jaws.
I was saying to
think he finds
Claude,
love in that
there's a
one.
new Bond coming out, and
It's already come out. No Time to Die.
Claude was saying, "Oh, we should go see it," and I was like, "I don't want to go see it." And he was like, "Why?" And I was just like, "I just don't get a lot out of Bond films. Like, I love action films, but spy films, especially things like Bond, don't tend to grab me very much."
I would appreciate Bond because I don't know. Like, I've had some Bond films that I enjoy, but I don't necessarily find myself drawn to the franchise. I think I would enjoy them more if he spent more time as a spy instead of moodily hanging out, punching people, and then sort of like obsessing over a variety of women.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
like
I think I hate the
spy
concept
things.
of... Yeah, exactly. I hate the concept of the Bond girl, and I think that, like, the Bond as a character doesn't interest me very much either. Like, I never found him a very particular, like, fascinating person.
I think there were a lot of potential for that with Daniel Craig's Bond that we see in Casino Royale and Skyfall, which are both like kind of trying to play more into the like he has different like various issues with the morality of what he does. Ooh, interesting. And then they just totally squander it with the movie. Like each Daniel Craig one seems to go from the best Bond movie to the worst Bond movie.
Yeah.
Each one after the other. It's crazy.
So does this new one have good reviews?
I think it in perfect fitting summary for him, it has like,
It's quite mediocre from the look of it.
but it looks mediocre, and that's because it's the reviews I've seen are both good and bad.
Yeah.
So it's not like people going, it's meh. It's people going, it's great, and also like totally squandered.
Right.
It's the one Phoebe Waller-Bridge worked on for a while.
Oh, okay, got you.
She was brought in, and they were like, can you fix Bond? And she was like, I can give it a go.
Do you want to hear some reviews?
Sure.
This film had 13% on Rotten Tomatoes. The site's critical consensus reads, dull and unfunny, this inexplicable sequel offers little more than the spectacle of digitally rendered talking animals with celebrity voices.
Yeah.
This is a review left by Tim Roby for the Daily Telegraph. It's beneath any cat to be sprayed repeatedly with a water bottle or completely shaved, let alone dubbed by Bette Midler.
What? How is that the worst crime of those things?
I know, Bette Midler is fine.
Does this guy not like Bette Midler? Are we not
I
meant to
guess
like
so.
Bette Midler?
She's great. Is she cancelled? This is a review left on IMDb. It's a 10 out of 10 review.
Okay.
It was left by Stephen Ball 226, and it's called For Everyone Who Loves Cats and Dogs. James Marsden, one of the stars of this movie, hosts the Oscars this year. I wonder if anyone will make note of this, one of his lesser credits. Other stars helping out are Bette Midler as Kitty Galore and Nick Nolte as Butch. They really do put their all into it. There are many other famous humans involved. The only character that jarred me a little was the pigeon Seamus, who spoke ghetto throughout.
Whoa.
Oh, and did I mention that Chris O'Donnell looks smoking hot as a cop?
What?
All in all, funny movie. Certainly a pleasant escape movie for a rainy day. Did they really spend $85 million on this? Oh,
Whoa,
well, I
what?
guess that means that there won't be any more sequels. 10 out of 10.
I do not like or get this guy's vibe.
I think it's a woman. Oh no, it's Stephen Ball.
This guy's energy is all over the place.
It's insane. It's the most scattered review ever.
Also, I think there is a third one.
Damn. I mean, this was left in 2010.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And this is a review left by CPU Vega, also in 2010. It's 10 out of 10, and it's called I Laughed with Tears. And I have to say, this person definitely, like, they have a disclaimer at the end saying that they don't, like, write English very well, and I'm not making fun of the fact that they're not, like, writing English very well. It's more, I just love what they're saying.
Yeah.
I love the vibes. Movie for children or adults who really understand children. I am a guy. I am 33 years old, and I really enjoy their world. The kids' world. The team who make this film, I think they're big children too. Congratulations. With such folks, the world can be changed by honest people, slightly naive, happy, and a little crazy, as well as children are. I appreciate less the fact that in the movie they used colourful language such as hell, crap, stupid, etc., but times have changed. When the porn knocking our door via the internet, personally, I see this as hardening. P.S. Excuse my English. I am Romanian, and also a happy one. 10 out of 10.
There's like an earnestness throughout it.
It is.
The weird anti-porn sentiment he found
When
to
the
worm
porn-
into this review was strange and
When
did
the
not like
porn
it. But
knocking on our door via the internet. Personally, I see this as hardening. I just love I am Romanian and also a happy one. Yeah. I was like, cute.
it's kind of cute.
So, Michelle, what would you rate Cats and Dogs 2 out of 10?
Well, I've expounded emphatically on how much I just didn't... Maybe I'm not smart enough for this film. Maybe my brain is too small. My teeny tiny
It is a set of
brain is
riddles.
too small.
It is something that you have to watch again and again to truly, I don't know, immerse yourself in the world of it, to understand the layers and complexities.
Needing to watch this movie repeatedly was the same feeling as trying over and over and over again to open a puzzle box, only to discover right towards the end that it is not in fact a puzzle box, but you simply did not have the key and it is a box that is empty. That was the experience of watching this movie. So I really didn't like it too. It's a movie. I can't have it lower than 2. It's a 2. I hate it. I really hate it. No, it's 1.9. Fuck you.
This reminds me of like my visceral reaction to Zoolander 2, you
Yeah.
know? Like, so it's funny, like the things that like, It really depends on our mood and like just like the little things that bother us in films.
Yeah.
I'm going to give this bad boy because I didn't mind watching it and I liked some of the voice actors. And again, this isn't about is it a good film, it's how much could I tolerate it. 3.5 out of 10. 3.5 out of 10.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's shockingly
Definitely
high.
higher up on the list. I found it easy to watch.
Wow.
Easy to watch. I love that we had such different experiences.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, Michelle, that was Cats and Dogs 2, Revenge of Kitty Galore. Don't forget to follow us on social media. You can find us on Twitter under Rate Descend Pod, TikTok under Rating Descending, or you can email us at ratingdescending@gmail.com.
Or you could, if you just want to chat to us solo style, you can find us on our own social media. And you can find me on both Twitter and Instagram at Michelle.St.
And you can find me on Insta under Abigail J. Ward.
Some high quality podcasting.
Are you yawned?
You could also, if you pretty please, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. If other platforms have a review section, please do that, because I'm well aware that most of our listeners don't use Apple Podcasts.
Yeah, true. If anything you're using has a place to leave a review.
Or
please
5-star
leave a
it, or
review.
anything like that.
Yeah.
Please. It genuinely is so helpful.
It really is. Well, Michelle, what are we watching next week?
Next week, we're watching Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance.
Great. I've never
Yeah.
seen Ghost Rider. I
neither.
don't really know much about it, but I do like Nick Cage, so that's all I can cling on to.
Got a Nick Cage everywhere. Well, that's not his voice, but he's got a Nick Cage everywhere. Wow.
Wow. It's like this sounds like Dark Owen Wilson.
wow.
Oh wow.
I'm Nick Cage.
So you got to do like his National Treasure impersonation. It's like
Oh, yeah.
The Secret Lies with Charlotte. Oh, The Secret Lies
Hey,
with
I'm
Charlotte.
Nick Cage in,
Abigail,
in
we have
National
to steal
Treasure.
the Declaration of Independence.
I am Nicolas Cage in National Treasure.
Is that French Stewart?
Yeah, that's French Stewart. I am
Love
from
that guy.
Cedric from the Sun.
I'm regular Stewart, so get the hell out of here.
I love that to you, someone is named French because he is French.
I didn't get it at first. I'm one woman. I'm very simple. Fuck off. We're leaving. Goodbye. Goodbye. I'm stupid.